Today I want to talk to you all about the thesis statement and topic sentences and support with your paragraph. I also mentioned just a few other things, and since there will be several sections to this lecture because of the space it takes on YouTube, you'll have 1, 2, and 3 at least. So this is lesson 1. I'm going to mention a couple of things while I'm doing this that I've noticed. This essay is from several years ago in a 101 class, and there may be other issues in it, but we're just going to talk about a couple of things. The first thing I want you to notice is the space between these this information. And to fix this, make sure that you go up into paragraphing and you put it on 0 points. And while it messed this up, we want to do this as double space. Still isn't right, so we just hit delete. There's too much space between our paragraphs. Let's just go that far. Paragraphs, I think I already showed you that. Again, after you only want 0, and do not add spaces between paragraphs of the same style. Hit OK. Everything's perfectly double spaces. This essay is a persuasive essay. It's trying to convince somebody of something. We may or may not get to this essay in ours. In our class. One thing that this shows me that they're hitting a hard break between like 2 spaces. Don't do that. Just let it make a space itself. Okay, the topic sentence. Personally, I think that television can teach kids and adults many different things. Very straightforward, clear, basic, but one of the problems that many of you all had last class in the last essay was that you were trying to be too wordy. You were trying to sound, I don't know, it was just too much. So simple sentences, simple writing. Now, I don't mean that you can't use compound sentences, but just get your subjects and verbs and then tell me what it's about. You also don't say, I think, in a topic sentence or a thesis statement, because we know that you think this, because if you didn't think it, you wouldn't be writing it. So it's obvious that you think it. Television can teach kids and adults many different things. A thesis statement is the last sentence in your introduction that tells what the paper is going to be about. Television rots your brain. Now, you all notice right off probably that there's U's in here. I found that again even after saying not to do it. Go to find, type in U, and look, every one of those U's, none here, but look, wow, you can find those. The only one that you can have is the one in a title. This student really needs to use that find to find the U's in here. It's her, and I'm going to use her as referring to the student. Doesn't really have a very strong introduction. It's very short. But if you look, television can teach kids and adults many different things. In today's television world, there are many different genres of shows. It really just depends on what you like and what you want to watch. Again, we would take all those U's out. Don't use them just because. And it goes on and tells about what's on TV. Well, what about we put something that doesn't fit your thesis statement, but you want to put in there and it explains what's coming up? in your introduction. Now, we're going to look at, because really that did not have anything to do with teaching kids and adults, just says what's on TV. So in her paper, I'm going to look and I'm going to pay attention to see that she is going to talk about kids first, then adults. Okay? She's going in that order. She's going to tell me that she can teach them many things and that TV is good. Starts out, many of the shows that are kid friendly try to teach them educational things such as colors, letters, and numbers. Okay, there you go. Notice when my daughter was small watching the kids show, they were also teaching them a lot of everyday things. Well, now wait a minute. My topic sentence, excuse me, my topic sentence tells me we are going to be reading about, in this paragraph, about colors, letters, and numbers. So here's something that is totally off track. So it doesn't have anything to do with our topic sentence. So instead, we would say something like, for example, you can use that, Barney, and I'm italicizing the name of the show because it's the larger of the thing. If it was an episode title, I'd put it in quotation marks. Teaches the colors of the rainbow. When she watched, I'm talking about her the daughter, she learned her letters and numbers. Okay, now that's fine. But let's get some more details here. This is where you put details. You notice I'm going from general to specific. Let's see, Bert and Ernie. Sang songs about the letters and wow. Chanted the numbers in his rhymes. I can't spell. Well, now, so you've got some examples here. Got your colors, the letters, and the numbers. You've got specific examples. Again, go back. You would change that to make Sesame Street. Now, what? So what? Then that would ask you a question. Here's your examples. Here's your ideas. But so what? When the shows my daughter continued to repeat what she saw on TV. Okay. I don't want to put I think. Learned a lot by watching the, let's see, the educational shows. So I'm referring back up here to this paragraph. Now, what about this information down here? I've added examples. Here's one example, colors. Here's another example, Bert and Ernie, letters, the count, right numbers. When the shows were over, my daughter continued to repeat what she saw on TV. This tells me what she learned. I'm editing on the fly. Now, we need a transition here. Notice when my daughter was small, watching the kids show, many of them were not only teaching educational things. Now look, this refers back right up here to, and it continues what she just was talking about, but was also teaching them a lot of everyday things. Does this go back to different things? Sure. Sharing with the things, teaching nice to others. These were just a few examples. The problem with this is there are no specific examples. We need specific examples in. This is a good example. Here's your example. And then here is even a more detailed example. So this paragraph needs specific support and examples. Do y'all see how that works? Okay, we will continue this. Well, I've got a few more minutes. I don't like to make them over 15 minutes. Let's talk about this next one. So this paragraph needs specific support. As kids, I don't like the words kids, but that's just me. I would prefer you use children. Be like my old teacher used to say, kids are goats. As children start getting older and get into school and start watching shows for older kids, there are more lessons they can learn. So you can see she is going from preschool to older kids, and then later teenagers, older teenagers, adults. There are more lessons they can learn. Some networks have shows that depict bullying. Okay, let's talk this paragraph to me. I'm starting to read this. More lessons here. And bullying. Learn what bullying is. Good. Bullying them. There are shows now. That's good. But what do we need here? Examples. Let's see if it comes in the rest. There are shows that tell them not to smoke, drink, or do drugs. That doesn't have anything to do with bullying. Now, you might be able to keep that in the paragraph by using a transition, but my suggestion would be that you would need, again, this paragraph needs specific support and examples. What would be some examples? Okay, what shows depict bullying and what do they talk about? I don't know right off the top of my head, but if I was writing this, I would look on TV and I would try to find some to give those examples. There are, say, furthermore, that's a good, if I can't spell. Furthermore, there are shows that tell them not to smoke, drink, or do drugs by showing them what it can do to them. So again, we need to go and watch kids are going to watch television, but we need some of these examples. Okay, again, you'd have to be watching TV. One more little thing here, and then we will continue. As kids become teenagers, there are more things that they have to face in their everyday life. Not only they're smoking and drinking and drugs. Here we came right up from here. We continued this whole idea. So not only was this, here's the show about, but sex. I'm not saying that, and then she goes on and says, I'm not saying that television takes the place of parents talking to their children about the dangers. We're not talking in this paragraph of cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, but of sex. So you would keep that all together. So you want to keep sex. This is all about sex. And so we would have this here. So this is a way to do this. You make sure that everything is about, every paragraph has its own topic and everything is supported by evidence. And while you look at this, then will have a few more things to do, a video for you, a